Gauntlets. We all remember playing them all those years ago. Everyone agrees that they are better than the map packs, but why would that be? Let's find out. And before I start, might I say a sub to the channel would be fire. First up, we have the Shard Gauntlets. These gauntlets are all supposed to be themed around one of the 6 different kinds of shards in the game. And the first of these gauntlets is the Fire Gauntlet. Now, the name Fire Gauntlet suggests a gauntlet with fire-themed levels, but only the last level, Magmatic Sanctuary, has a fire theme at all. So I'm gonna have to give this gauntlet a 1 out of 5 because it's the only level that fits, and on top of that, all the other 4 levels didn't age that well. Next are the Ice, Poison, Shadow, and Lava gauntlets. These are the rest of the shard themed gauntlets, and they're much the same, with only like 1 to 2 levels being themed around the gauntlet and the rest just being thrown in there seemingly for no reason. The Shadow Gauntlet is an exception though. 4 of its levels are themed to the Shadow theme. I give it a 3 out of 5 due to the fact that the levels are still kind of old, so it doesn't feel that interesting to play anymore. And then the rest of the gauntlets are 2 out of 5 because a lot of the levels are just that old. And the bonus gauntlet, this is the final shard gauntlet. It doesn't really have a theme, but it's supposed to be like a combination of all of the themes, and the levels in it do possess some sort of theming to do with some of it, I guess, but it's not the best. So I'm gonna give it a 2 out of 5 because the levels still also do not hold up the best today. Now we're on to the other gauntlets that RobTop has placed into the game, like the Chaos and Demon Gauntlet. These gauntlets are tied to the game's story, like with the Chaos Gauntlet, where when you beat it, it gives you the blue key, and that can unlock the Demon Gauntlet for you. And of course, due to that, they both don't really have a theme. They're mostly based on difficulty. Like the Demon Gauntlet is based entirely off of demons, and because of that, I can't judge them on a theme, and the levels themselves are pretty decent, so I give them both a 3 out of 5. The Time Gauntlet is a significant jump later in time from the last gauntlets, so the levels in it feel less aged and more up to par with the standards of today. Sadly though, this gauntlet still suffers from improper theming with 3 levels that have a time theme, so I'm gonna have to give it a 3 out of 5. It's a pretty good gauntlet in my opinion though. Spike Gauntlet. This gauntlet just doesn't make sense to me. None of the levels have a spike theme or any themes together in themselves. Most of the levels are very generic feeling and old, and why make a spike gauntlet? It just doesn't make sense. So I'm gonna give this a 1 out of 5 because it's kind of a strange concept and it doesn't make sense to me. Now we are onto the Creator Contest Gauntlets. These are the gauntlets that were organized in a creator contest, like the Crystal and Magic Gauntlets. The Crystal Gauntlet was the first ever Gauntlet creator contest, and of the levels that were made, the top 5 made it into the Gauntlet. As such, these levels are extremely well themed to the Crystal theme. They all look incredible, and they hold up really well today. The Magic Gauntlet is 2 Mega Collab levels smacked at the end of 3 random levels. So the first 3 levels, they don't make sense to me. And the next 2 levels are pretty cool, but why didn't they make 5 levels? I don't know. So as such, the Magic Gauntlet is going to get a 3 out of 5 because it's still a pretty cool gauntlet, but it just doesn't fit well. And the Crystal Gauntlet gets a 5 out of 5 because that's like an incredible thing that they did. Now the Monster, Doom, and Death Gauntlets are the 3 newest gauntlets in the game currently, and all 3 of them are creator contests in themselves with their own requirements and difficulties that were required. The Monster and Death Gauntlets both held up extremely well. All of their levels look really nice today and could hold up on their own even in the future. As such, they're receiving 5 out of 5s. And the Doom Gauntlet is receiving a 4 out of 5 just because some of the levels feel a little bit rushed. And the gameplay, due to the fact that they are demons, is slightly clunkier and less fun, but that's not too big of an issue. Finally, we have the World, Universe, and Galaxy Gauntlets. These gauntlets, while not out yet, the creator contest for them just ended and all of the levels are out up on the servers to play. All 3 of these gauntlets were from a world creator contest where creators from countries grouped up to make levels representing their countries. And as such, these gauntlets don't really have a theme. They're more based off of what they did inside the levels. But the levels are all absolutely incredible and they all look amazing. So all of these gauntlets, when they're out, doesn't matter what order any of the levels are put in, there is going to be a 5 out of 5 because all the levels are just insane. The Discord Gauntlet, surprise, it was just announced the same day as the second sneak peek. and no levels have been made for it yet as it was just announced. But it does sound like a pretty cool idea, and it is in fact a gauntlet that will exist in the future, so we shall see what happens in the deadline in January. Thank you for watching my discussion on the gauntlets. I hope you enjoyed it, and I'll see you guys in the next video.